we need to stop. We need to stop running away from Him. Sometimes it's so much easier than we think. I think we get this view sometimes that we like finding Jesus is like hide and seek. Like we're going to have to look around really hard, like, Jesus, you out there? I'm going to try and read my Bible. I'm going to try and listen to stuff. I hope I find you. Listen, finding Jesus is not like hide and seek. It's a lot more like tag. And you're it. And He's chasing you down. The only problem is we're so busy running away from Him into all these earthly pursuits that He's got to chase us. And sometimes if we just stop, He'd catch us. You know, it's like Jesus is chasing us down with His love. We're like, hold on, Jesus, I'm going to pursue this boyfriend and this popularity thing. Oh, Jesus, hold on, wait just a minute. It's so hard to find God. No, it's not. Sometimes if we just stop pursuing all that other garbage that's harmful for us, and we'll just stop running away from Him, He'll catch us. You know, I'll tell you what, I have 2 daughters. One's 4.5 and the other one's 18 months. And the one that's 18 months old has gotten just tall enough that she can reach things on the edge of the counter. So we have a no edge of the counter rule in my household. You know, anything you put on the counter has to be more than 6 inches on, or she'll grab it. And so sometimes people forget stuff, and so, you know, sure enough, she'll go ahead and grab stuff off the counter. And you know, like all obedient, incredible children, as soon as she sees that I see her, the first thing she does, even at 18 months old, she walks over and says, Dad, I'm so sorry for taking this off the counter. Here, I want to give it to you. No, I'm just kidding. She looks at me and she turns around and she starts running. And so I got to chase her down. And sometimes it might be something dangerous, like she's running with a sharp object, you know. And I think that's what a lot of us are like spiritually. We're like a bunch of 2-year-olds with switchblades, you know. We're like, I got this, you know. Leave me alone, Jesus, I'm having fun. What does this button do? Oh, you know, I mean. And Jesus is going, just stop. Stop pursuing all those other things. They're just going to lead you to heartbreak and like a hamster on a wheel where you're never going to get what you're hoping for. Just stop. I think for some of us, if we really want to find the Lord, that's the first thing we need to do, is just stop running and pursuing all of these other things. And as we stop pursuing those, God's going to be able to catch us. See, can I tell you something? One of the most incredible truths when we understand the way God's love works is that He has been pursuing you since the day you were born. We all know that Jesus sent His Son for us, but I think sometimes we feel like Jesus sent His Son, and then He gave us that message, and then He's up here waiting for us to come to Him. But that's really not an accurate picture. Because the Bible tells us that God is working through the circumstances of our life, working through all these different areas, people, things, to pursue us, to reveal His love to us. That even after sending His Son, He then aggressively pursues us with His love. He's running after you. Listen, the truth is, from the day you were born, He's been pursuing you. It doesn't matter how many times you turn your back on Him, maybe you spit in His face verbally or by your actions. You think, my God will never take me back. He'll never forgive me. Yes, He will. Yes, He will. Listen, some of the verses in the Bible about how much God wants to chase you down are so incredible. You know, have you ever heard people say this before? Have you ever heard people say something like this? If you were the only person left on earth, God would have died for you. And you think, oh, that sounds so spiritual. Whatever. You know. I used to think that. Until I read Matthew 18:12. It's a parable of the lost sheep. And Jesus tells a story that's illustrating the kind of love that He has for you and for me. He says, even if someone had 100 sheep, 99 of them were still there and just one went astray. He said, I'd leave the 99 and go after the one. Here's what Jesus is saying. When He's pursuing the world with His love, you'd think if He got 99%, it'd be like high-five the angels and let's blow the trumpets. You know, we clean house, we got 99%. But it says, even if there was still one, and there was time, God would say, I'm not satisfied. Even if it were just you, He would pursue you. He really would have said it's just for you. I think for some of us, the first step, we just need to stop and we need to make a decision to stop pursuing all these things that are taking us away from Him. Secondly, what if we decided to give Jesus the keys? Like, what if we decided to give Him the keys to the areas of our life that we're keeping back from Him? You know what I think is so funny? I think so many of us, we love to flirt with Jesus, you know? Like if you think about it, we pursue Jesus like a God with commitment issues. We really do. It's kind of what we do. We're kind of like this. We're like, hey, Jesus, high five. Or you're like, yeah, you're awesome, man. Hey, just hold on. I want you around. I want to go to this party real quick. And I want to kind of do my own stuff. I want to kind of live my own life. No, don't go anywhere, Jesus. No, I still want you. You know what I'm saying? I want some salvation. I want some feel good when I do something wrong. You know, I want to know you're still there, but I just don't want to sell out to you. I want you around, God. I want to hold on to you, but not at the expense of all this other stuff. I just want both. You know what's funny? The Bible describes our heart like a home. Revelation 3 personifies it, said that God is standing at the door of our heart knocking, wanting to come into our home. And I think as we've had that analogy, I think we've given some terminology that I think has been confusing, and it might contribute to that kind of mentality that I just described. You know, maybe you've heard people say this, hey, just invite Jesus into your heart. You know, and it almost is this kind of thing where it's like, just invite him in, like do him a favor. Can I tell you the truth? Is that Jesus really isn't looking for an invitation to your heart. Ultimately, he's looking for ownership of your heart. And those two are a whole different story. Listen, consider the differences. When you invite someone into your house, they're a guest. You still call the shots. You still make the rules. The decisions are yours to make. But when you sign the deed of ownership of your house over to someone else, it's a whole different story, isn't it? See, now they're calling the shots. They're in charge. They make the rules. And I think so many of us have found it so hard to experience God because we've invited him like an invited guest into our life, but we've never given him the deed of ownership. And so we want Jesus to hang out in the living room. Jesus, you can hang out in the living room, but there's a whole lot of my house that I'm not going to let you in. The problem is Jesus never wanted to be a guest. Because of his love for us, he wants to be the owner of our house because he knows that anything less than that will destroy ourselves. But when we give him ownership in his love, he'll lead us and guide us to fullness of life, which is what he has for us. You know, there's some of us, I think maybe we've asked Jesus in our life and we're holding things back, you know. Maybe it's sins. There's certain things we're like, Jesus, I don't want to talk about that with you right now. I'm still having fun doing my own thing in this area. Maybe it's hurts or pains that we have in our life. Maybe there's some stuff that happened to you as a child and it's been hurting you and you know it's causing you to lash out at people or withdraw or whatever it is. And the enemy's convinced you, no, you're such a victim. You deserve to act that way even though it's killing you. God said, let me in, let me help you. Maybe it's your habits. Maybe there's some habits you have. Maybe they're not satanic, but they're not godly. They're distractions that are pulling you away from the things that God has for you. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship right now that's causing you to compromise, and you know this is not where you need to be. Jesus has been convicting you, but you're like, no, I would rather have this than trust God and not know what's coming. Listen, what would happen if we just gave him the keys and we just trusted him? You know, I don't understand. You know, I talk to people so much and they go, Mike, I want to trust these areas of my life to God, but I'm just so afraid. What are we so afraid of? Why are we so afraid to trust someone that proved his love and commitment to us by sacrificing his life in our place? How can we ever fear his intentions for us? You know, here's what people say. You know what it is, Mike? It's not that I don't want to trust Jesus. I would like to. It's not Jesus. I can't trust anybody with this area of my life. Can I tell you something? If you're saying that, you're already deceived. You're already trusting someone with that area of your life. I'll give you an example. You say, Mike, I'm so lonely. And I've got this loneliness, and so I need a boyfriend. And what if I give Jesus the keys, and he tells me I have to break up with that boyfriend, and then I'm going to be lonely? I can't trust anybody with that area. Listen, do you see what you're doing? What you're doing is you're feeling loneliness, and you're choosing to trust a boyfriend with that loneliness instead of Jesus. You're not keeping it to yourself. You're choosing to look for fulfillment of that loneliness in some human being instead of trusting God with himself. If you're afraid to trust God with the area of your life, you should be so much more afraid to trust a fallible human being or
earthly